So, Dr. Johnson, are you telling me that black people in America are so dumb that white people can even cause them to be jealous of black Africans who come here and do very well? No, tell me this first. Who don't want you? Who don't want you here?
I'm listening to you.
No, you're not listening to me. You.
Let me make this
I ask you a question and you go on and on. Are you comparing white Americans to the Nazis? And that's what you're doing? Let me tell you why most white Americans and good black folks don't want to live with other black people, because they don't want to live in ghettos. They don't want to live in crime-ridden areas. They don't.
You are a sad case, my brother.
What did I do?
I mean, you totally identify with the enemies of your people. You have no compassion.
What did I do?
For your people. We have to look at the conditions of the everyday black person, and the average black person isn't able to afford a lifestyle.
That's not what I'm asking you. You're wasting my time here.
Now,
are they racist against blacks?
Black people.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. I have with me for the Manhood Hour, and he will be taking your call, Dr. Umar Johnson. Dr. Johnson is a psychologist and Pan-Africanist. He wrote the book Psychoacademic Holocaust, the Special Education and ADHD War Against Black Boys. Very interesting, and I wanted to talk to him about these and other issues. So, Dr. Johnson, are you telling me that black people in America are so dumb that white people can even cause them to be jealous of black Africans who come here and do very well?
I think that what you're failing to recognize is when you control access to opportunity, you can sow the seeds of division and behavior that causes members within a particular group to work against their own best interests, to look out for their own selfish personal advancement. And that's exactly what happens among African people. For example, and I work with Africans from the continent. I'm a Pan-African. I'll be going to Ghana this summer, leading a group trip.
So is that a yes?
Let me make the statement, please. Because when you deal with these types of issues, they're not yes/no answers. You have to provide the context. And what I briefly want to say is that when Africans come to America, and I know this because I've been told this by many Africans here, they are told, okay, when they come through customs, when they come through immigration, that they would be better off if they didn't deal with Africans who are already here. They're told this when they go through their orientations, that it's best to stay away from us. So many of them are afraid of mixing with African Americans because they understand that the American government does not look favorably upon us. And if you're here on a student visa or a work visa or any type of other temporary placement in America, you can be deported very quickly if they catch you working with Dr. Umar Johnson. So that's one of the reasons for the schisms between us and them. They're not allowed to be around us without being risking deportation.
Amazing. So that is a yes, that the white man influence is so great that he can influence black Americans to hate black Africans when they come
Black
here.
Americans do not hate Africans.
They are jealous of them, their success.
I do not believe that at all.
They're always saying that these African. They're always saying that they say that these African people who come here, the blacks who come here, think that they are better than we are. So that is jealousy. That's the same thing they said about the whites, the Jews, any group that have done well in this country.
Let me say this. Two things you're overlooking. Number one, the Africans who are allowed to come to America are allowed to come here because customs and immigration knows that they're not going to get out of hand. There's a lot of revolutionary Pan-Africanists in Africa who have never been allowed to come to America. I have friends in Senegal, friends in Nigeria, friends in South Africa who've been trying to come to America, not to live, just to visit me. and their visas have constantly been turned down.
But there are a lot of folks who try to come here and can't get here.
Hold on. Let me. The African who is allowed to come to America is not the one who's likely to work with African people against white supremacy for our collective betterment.
Well, we don't want troublemakers here.
Well, I don't consider someone fighting for their rights a troublemaker. When the European Jews stood up against the Nazis, they weren't making trouble. They were defending their human rights. And that's exactly what we do when we stand up. Now, if defending our rights, our human rights, makes us troublemakers, then so be it. But the other thing you're missing is all immigrants who come to America are giving preferential treatment over African Americans because we are not wanted here. The other thing you're missing
don't want you here?
All immigrants. Hold on.
Who don't want you here, sir?
To America,
Doctor.
Let me finish this.
No, tell me this first. Who don't want you? Who don't want you here?
I'm listening to you.
No, you're not listening to me. You.
Let me make this
I ask you a question and you go on and on.
2 seconds. 2 second statement, and that is this. All other non-white peoples who come to America are giving access to capital and resources that allows them the opportunity to build up business and commerce. And the same banks that give them that opportunity practice financial racism against black people, which prevent us from having an opportunity to build up economic infrastructure. Racism is at the root of all of the ills that we suffer, Jesse.
Okay.
We do not control the miseducation system.
We
do not control the criminal
Doctor, hold on.
System.
Hey, hold on.
We do not control the economy.
Doctor, hold on. You said a lot.
I need you, my brother.
Hold on.
Stop blaming the victim, and I need you to start loving your people. And I want you to be an argument for your people and not for their oppressors.
Doctor, you're saying a lot here. First, are you comparing white Americans to the Nazis?
We could.
And that's what you're doing? Are you doing that?
We could. Yes, we very well could because
I said, are you doing that?
Yes, because the extermination campaign, against African men in America is no different than the Nazi extermination campaign of European Jews. They are identical. What is being done to black men now? You have concentration camps in America right now called prisons. 95% of black people in those prisons are not there because they committed a crime. They're there because they cannot afford adequate, decent representation.
Well, why did they need representation? Why did they? Hold on. Hey, hold on.
Represented on death row.
Why did they need representation? Did they do anything that required?
Because they've been charged.
Okay, so they needed something that required them to need it.
False crime.
Hold on, I want to go back to something else you said.
Was being black.
Dr. Johnson, hold on a minute.
The only crime they committed was being black, my brother.
Okay, calm down.
No, I'm calm. I'm very calm.
No, calm down. Let's dialogue.
But
you said that the government...
So when we're on the telephone, it may appear that I'm not calm, but I'm quite calm. I'm laying in my hotel bed, as a matter of fact, talking to you. Okay,
let me ask. You said that the government doesn't... First, let me ask, who doesn't want you here? You said they don't want us here. Who doesn't want you here?
The American social order, which includes the government as well as sympathizing whites, which includes the majority of them. And you don't have to take my opinion for it. There's been polls done for the past 50 years that clearly show that most white people would desire an America without black people. Are you telling me you don't know that? Is that not why we have segregation?
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of that.
Is that not why we have segregation?
Let me ask you this.
Is that not why most white people prefer to live with white folks? Is that not why most white people would prefer that their kids go to an all-white school? Are you telling me you don't understand white supremacy? I'm sure you're an intelligent black man. Please don't tell me you don't understand white supremacy exists in this country.
Let me tell you why most white Americans and good black folks don't want to live with other black people, because they don't want to live in ghettos. They don't want to live in crime-ridden areas. They don't want to go to school. Let me finish. Yeah, I'll let you ask, but hold on. They don't want to go to schools in the urban area where your children's lives are at risk, or they are called white if they try to do well in school. Why would anybody with any common sense want to live in those types of environments?
Okay. Well, first of all, I have to say this with all respect. You are a sad case, my brother.
What did I do?
I mean, you totally identify with the enemies of your people. You have no compassion.
What did I do?
For your people. You are the reason that I became a psychologist, to help self-hating black people overcome their trauma. I mean, to hear you talk, it's a shame that we have black men like you who should be fighting for their people.
I am fighting for my people.
Protecting their integrity.
Hold on, Dr. Johnson. Let me take a break. 888-7753-773. We're going to get to your calls after this break. Okay, folks, welcome back. It is Manhood Hour every Wednesday, last hour of the day, rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I've spent the last 24 years rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I do love black people. I love black people. And I'm talking with Dr. Umar Johnson. He is a psychologist and Pan-Africanist. We're going to tell you how to get his book, how to get to his website, and all that good stuff in a minute. And the board is smoking here, so we are going to get to all of your calls. But, Doctor, before we go to the calls, I need to know three things that you said. Just kind of clarify for me. You said that we talked about how you said that white people don't go to the same school with blacks. They want to move away from the black communities and things like that. And I said black people are doing it too. People like Jay-Z. You heard of Jay-Z, right? And Beyonce.
Yes,
and Beyonce, you heard of her, right? Beyonce.
We do have a black bourgeoisie.
And you heard.
Let
me just finish. You heard of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, right?
Yes, I have.
They moved out. You heard of Oprah. Mm-hmm. She moved out. Are those black people racist against white folk? Are those black people racist against black people as well for moving out of those ghettos?
Okay. Well, first of all, the people that you named represent an extremely small minority amongst the larger population of African
Are they
Americans.
racist against blacks?
Hold on. I'm going to answer the question. But it's important when we have conversations like this that we don't look for exceptions to the rule. We have to look at the conditions of the everyday black person. And the average black person isn't able to afford a lifestyle.
That's not what I'm asking you. You're wasting my time here.
Now,
are they racist against blacks?
Black people cannot be racist. They can only be victims or agents of racism, but they cannot be racist.
So these black successful folks who move out, and don't let their children go to the inner city schools are not racist, but white people who move out of the ghettos are racist.
Yes.
In your opinion.
In order to be a racist, you must belong to a group that has the power to exercise oppression against the other. Although Jay-Z and Oprah may be rich, they do not belong.
Obama is the president. He has the power to. Does he have the power to present racism toward others?
Does he have the power to present racism towards others? President Obama is not a white male. And because he's not a white male, he cannot be racist. He can only be an agent of the racism. President Obama is an agent of racism.
Even Louis Farrakhan. Even Louis Farrakhan and what's that other racist guy name? The preacher? Jeremiah Wright Jr. Jeremiah Wright Jr. moved onto a golf course and got a fence around his home to keep away from the blacks. Is he racist?
Really? Well, I haven't heard you mention Rush Limbaugh.
What about him?
Identified a racist, and I haven't heard you mention Billy Graham, who was also a racist.
No, you accuse white people moving out of the black communities because they were racist, and I say you're wrong about that. And I named all these black people.
Do you know your history?
I named these black people who move out. Even Snoop Dogg moved out. And you said they can't be a racist. So either you don't know what you're talking about, or you've been deceived.
Do you know how ghettos were created? Ghettos were created between World War I and World War II. When black people came up during the Great Migration, white people fled the inner cities where they used to dominate and ran to the suburbs because they didn't want to live around black
Do you
people.
live in the inner city? Do you live in the inner cities?
Yes, I do.
Let me ask you this, then. Let me ask you this. No. We heard that crap. We heard that.
Right. Because you keep on oppressing the truth. Don't oppress the truth, my brother. If I'm allowing you to express yourself, and I don't have a problem.
I know, but make yours short because you're going on too long. We're going to get some calls.
No, I'm not going on long. It's only because I'm disagreeing with you and you want to dominate the conversation.
No, you're taking too long.
Okay, let me make this statement. The Federal Housing Association, along with the American Social Order, which includes the government and white people, created ghettos through the Federal Housing Association by giving white people low-interest loans, which allow poor white people to move to the suburbs, and then they deny the same low-interest loans to black people living in the ghettos, and thereby trapping us in the ghetto and allowing white people to escape. You need to study your history on how ghettos were created.
Let me ask you this. Let me say this.
It is a Jewish word.
Okay, I heard all that.
Jewish word.
Let me ask this.
It referred to the poor white Jews who once dominated in America's city, but were given white privilege. Okay, white
Doctor, hold on.
In the form of low-interest loans by the Federal Housing Association.
Doctor, hold on. Let me ask this.
Don't mislead your listeners.
I know, but stay with me.
Don't mislead your listeners.
Stay with me. Let me ask you this. Let me ask. So let's say that social engineering did happen or is happening or did happen. Once they put black people in those areas, what prevent black people from keeping those areas clean, safe? Why do they kill each other? Why don't?
Beautiful question.
Is it that the white man is causing them to live an immoral lifestyle as well?